Cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with Ready Mixed Concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at copplecars.com. Stock numbers G121492. G187747 and G196599.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Welcome to the 2025 NSAA State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. State baseball broadcasts are powered by Game Day Men's Health, Max Tan, Dome University, Raising Cane's, and the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert and Austin Orman.
That is right. Welcome back into Warner Park as we have our second elimination game of the day. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman alongside Jackson Kleinschmidt back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios. Still here on a chilly, windy day at Warner Park. We saw one team get eliminated. That's the Waverly Vikings. Now it's time to find out who stays alive on the other side of the Class B bracket. Will it be Bennington or will it be the 7th-seeded Seward Blue Jays? Austin, we've seen both of these teams play so far throughout the course of the tournament, but they're both coming in with a little bit of adversity and lack of sleep. Bennington experienced a 4-hour and 14-minute game yesterday in a loss against Omaha Gross Catholic, while Seward had to endure just a 30-minute weather delay, but because of the Bennington game going 12 innings, they didn't get done playing until 11:30 p.m. last night.
It's incredible what happens in Nebraska State baseball with the weather, with everything that goes on. And, Nick, that leads to one of the best things about the game of baseball, the mental aspect. So much of it is physical, the fine-tuning, the adjustments, the tweaks that you have to make. But today, in an elimination game, if it comes down to mental toughness, which team is stronger, it's going to be fun to watch because we saw these two teams match up once before. Bennington won that game 8-1. Seward had its fair share of chances to make it a closer game early before Bennington piled on in the 5th and 6th to turn it into that 7-run game. Obviously, Bennington went through the marathon yesterday. Seward feels like they were just here, just played a game. It's going to be fun to watch and see how these young men react to the adversity they faced yesterday, if they can leave that in the past, or what do they have left to run on here today.
And Bennington's going to be the home team in this one. They've changed the rules a little bit here in the state baseball tournament this season. Used to be the first game of the weekend, the higher seed would be the home team, and then all the remaining games would be decided on home and away via a coin flip. However, now it is just always the higher seed is always home. And so Bennington is the home team here in this one, as they are the 2 seed in the Class B bracket. They came into the state tournament with just 3 losses on the campaign. They fell to the Gross Catholic squad 7-6 yesterday in 12 innings. Here on the hill for them, it's going to be Houston Hill on the season. Houston Hill 5-0 with a 1.97 earned run average. It's going to be important for Seward to try to be patient up at the plate. Don't allow Houston Hill to get into a groove.
Absolutely. It's going to start in the batter's box here for Seward as the visiting team at the top of the order with Bryson Burt, one of the most well-rounded players here in Class B. Called Burt's name a lot in the first game that Seward played. Be a good leadoff. If you see a pitch that you can drive, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, again, after the marathons, can you have a good approach? Keep your approach. Don't swing just to swing. This could be the end of your season. You got to lay it all out on the line.
Yeah, Burt takes ball 1 up out of the zone, 1-0 here, but he was 1 for 4. He started on the mound on Saturday for Seward against Bennington, and here he's hitting leadoff once again. He was 1 for 4 on Saturday as he hits this one into right center field. The right fielder racing over and making the catch for out number 1. So 2 pitches and 1 out here for Houston Hill on the mound for the Bennington Badgers. So now stepping up to the plate, it'll be the catcher, number 2, Boston Happ. Happ on Saturday against Bennington was 0 for 2. On the season, though, Happ is coming in the junior catcher. The right-handed hitter, Boston Happ, against the righty, Houston Hill. The first pitch of the at-bat is upstairs, ball 1. So we saw Gretna East eliminate Waverly today. That means the Griffins will have to beat Scott Catholic twice tomorrow. While the winner of this one gets Gross Catholic, and same thing will apply there. As this one on the 1-0 count is ripped into left center field, down for a base hit. And Boston Happ will now take over first base on a nice little 1-out single for the Seward Blue Jays offense.
Not trying to do too much. That was a fastball inside, in on the hands a little bit. Happ's a big, strong kid. He's able to flip that one into left center field for a 1-out single.
So Boston Happ, who is the catcher, there'll be a courtesy runner for him in just a moment. The head coach for the Seward Blue Jays, Brock Anderson, is communicating with the home plate umpire to see what he wants to do there. Now stepping into the right-handed batter's box is going to be, they're going to keep Boston Happ out there, it appears. But they are going to, they did chase him out. Yes, 19, Carson Delcamp is who went out there to be the courtesy runner for him. Apologies on that one. Number 24, Kyle Riley steps up to the plate. The right-handed hitter facing the righty, Houston Hill. The pitch on the way, low and away, ball 1, 1-0. As, like I mentioned, Carson Delcamp, the freshman, got to be important. Don't make any bad mistakes while on the base paths in the state tournament. So Delcamp with a conservative lead over there at first base. Houston Hill on the mound for the Bennington Badgers. Top of the first inning, Seward on offense. As the 1-0 offering is on the outer part of the zone for a strike, 1-1.
We've seen the wind blow from right to left as we see it here, Nick. It's pushing out to right field today. That's a change.
It was 53 degrees at first pitch, wind blowing, as Austin said, straight out of right field, or straight out to right field at about 14 to 15 miles per hour here at first pitch. The third pitch of the at-bat is in there for a strike, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out in the top of the first inning. After this game, we will turn our attention to Class A action. Millard South, Millard West will be our 4 p.m. first pitch as the 1-2 offering is tapped back to the mound, but an errant throw into center field. The runner's going to be able to advance to third. Boston Happ, or rather Carson Delcamp, was going to be out by a mile on the force at second base. Houston Hill airmailed it into center field, and Delcamp just continue motoring around second base, rounded into third, and now runners at the corners thanks to the Bennington Badgers error.
That's a tough play for a lot of pitchers to make, Nick. They're on the mound. They don't always have their mechanics right. And even on a soft tapper like that, looked like he rushed the throw low, but that sailed way into center field on Houston Hill.
So Kyle Riley reaches on an E1. An error on Houston Hill, the pitcher, and Seward is in business in the top of the first with runners on the corner and one out. Kean Shadwinkle, who's going to be getting the start on the mound for the Seward Blue Jays. He steps in, the cleanup hitter. The first pitch, he tries to bunt it, and it goes back to the net, 0-1. Shadwinkle on Saturday against the Bennington Badgers was 1 for 3. He did have an RBI. He hit the lone RBI of the day for the Seward Blue Jays in that 8-1 loss. The runner at first is Kyle Riley. The runner at third, Carson Delcamp. He's the courtesy runner for Boston Hap. No balls, one strike. Here's the pitch to Kean Shadwinkle as Houston Hill comes set. He tries to bunt it again and unable to do so, and so it's going to be strike 2 there on the missed bunt attempt.
The first one, he dropped the bat head. The second one, he was reaching out. Instead of waiting for that ball to travel and catch it with the bat, Kean Shadwinkle was really stretching to the outside part of that plate.
So now this comes in to be a big pitch here for Kean Shadwinkle. It's also a big pitch for Houston Hill on the bump as the Bennington Badgers trying to get out of this unscathed. 0-2, one out. The pitch grounded right side, second base. Will they have a chance for 2? They get the first at second base, but no throw on the latter end of the double play turn. And so, no, they're going to say runner's interference.
He didn't slide.
He did not slide. And so the runner at second did not attempt to get out of the way of it. And so Kyle Riley did not attempt to get out of the way so that the shortstop, in this case for the Bennington Badgers, Hunter Spencer, could make a throw to first base. There was no attempt by Kyle Riley, which means the run does not count, and Seward is scoreless. We head to the bottom of the first inning. Your score is 0-0. We see Bennington for the first time here today in just 60 seconds on 93.7 The Ticket.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Warner Park. Nick Sandert, Austin Norman with you. Seward, after it looked like they were going to take a 1-0 lead, they get called for runner's interference at second base. And so, therefore, they are held in check, and they come away with nothing in the top half of the first inning. Your score still 0-0, as we will see Bennington for the first time here this afternoon. Bennington will send Morgan Schumann, Hunter Spencer, and Aiden Smith up to the box here in the bottom of the first. And on the mound, they'll be facing Kean Shadwinkle. Shadwinkle on the year, 4-1 record with a 2.10 earned run average. It'll be a left-handed hitter, Morgan Schumann, against the righty Kean Shadwinkle. So here is the pitch from Shadwinkle. It's hit left side, fielded cleanly by the third baseman, thrown across the diamond in time. 1 pitch, 1 out for Kean Shadwinkle as he gets Morgan Schumann of Bennington to ground out on 1 pitch. Nice job there, inducing that ground ball out. Good play there on third by the third baseman, Colton Luce. That brings up the shortstop, number 8, Hunter Spencer. Spencer, the right-handed hitter, steps in. Shadwinkle gets the sign on his left wrist is where all the numbers are at, where he throws a first pitch strike as that one's fouled back to the net. 0-1.
Mighty swing and a miss from Hunter Spencer there. Almost Adrian Beltraded.
No balls, 1 strike, 1 out in the bottom of the first inning. Here in a Class B elimination matchup, the 0-1 offering is outside, ball 1, 1-1. We saw it yesterday in the Millard South Lincoln East game. We saw it this morning with Gretna East and Waverly. Inability to throw strikes detrimental to your team, as this one fouled off right side, 1-2. Got to be competitive in the zone, even if they pitch you around a little bit, pitch to contact, find success, and good things are more than likely going to happen at this level. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Shadwinkle. Breaking ball, hit him on the helmet. You might have heard that tink in the crowd mic for us, but it is a hit by pitch. Hunter Spencer is going to occupy first base.
Breaking ball that didn't break. No intention there. Nothing mean, nothing bad about it. Just a curveball that ran up and in, didn't break back down.
I think Hunter Spencer saw that it was a breaking ball, and I think he expected it to keep working back towards the zone. He wasn't going to swing, but then I think he was kind of caught off guard because there was no movement from Hunter Spencer. And naturally, if a ball is coming at your head, you're going to probably try to at least get out of the way to some degree. So he'll occupy first base for Aiden Smith as Smith takes strike 1, 0-1. Good job there by Kean Shadwinkle. Get right back up on the bump and right back to work. First pitch strike for Kean Shadwinkle. Seward lost to Bennington 8-1 on Saturday. That was the first time that we saw them. But then Seward was able to win yesterday, and Bennington fell to Omaha Gross. As this one's going to get away from the catcher, it'll bounce, keep bouncing towards that Seward dugout. Going to third base is Schumann, or rather Spencer. And how about that? A wild pitch, just because of so much foul territory here at Warner Park, doesn't just allow an extra 90 feet. It allows an extra 180 on the wild pitch.
That kicked off the shin guard of Seward's catcher, Boston Hab, made it all the way over to the Seward dugout, bounced off the netting there. It was actually first baseman Kyle Riley who had to pick that one up.
And we're going to have a conversation here because they might have Seward, that dugout, some of those coaches were in the way and the field of play. And so I think maybe it was just a verbal warning of, hey, let's make sure we're keeping the dirt area clear and stay on the steps of the dugout. So runner at third is Hunter Spencer. Aiden Smith is the man at the plate. Kean Shadwinkle trying to keep the runner 90 feet away from home plate. He comes set in the stretch, takes a breath, lifts the left leg and fires. Swung on, line drive, hit left center field, and it is hauled in. What a catch by the center fielder, Quentin Hibbert. However, on the play, the run will score on a nice ball that was hit on a line by Aiden Smith. It was a good play all around. Both sides are giving a round of applause. It was full extension for Quentin Hibbert in left center field, but tagging up on the play and giving Bennington a 1-run lead is Hunter Spencer.
A warmer day, maybe that one gets into the gap. I think it was a little depressed by the colder, windier conditions here at Warner Park. I wasn't sure Hibbert was going to get to that one. An incredible jump, great first step, full extension.
2 outs now in the home half of the first inning. Bennington strikes first. They lead 1-0. The 1 ball, no strike count is low and away 2-0. Stepping into the box, Charlie Swoboda. Swoboda, the first baseman for the Bennington Badgers. Swoboda on the year, 238 hitter. 2 balls, no strikes the pitch. Down the middle, 2-1. Swoboda was 1 for 3 with 2 RBI in Saturday's win against Seward. Here's the pitch. Low and outside, 3-1 now to the Bennington first baseman.
Know he's a cleanup guy, but with nobody on base ahead of him, the base paths are empty after the sacrifice fly. You'd like to see Shadwinkle be a lot more aggressive in the zone.
3 balls, 1 strike the pitch. Outside zone, caught it, and it's 3-2. We've worked it full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Charlie Swoboda at the plate, Kian Shadwinkle trying to get out of this inning with just 1 run allowed. Here's the pitch. Just a tad outside, and it's going to be ball 4. And Charlie Swoboda draws a 2-out walk, which now will bring up the designated hitter, Kellen Molnaric. Molnaric, 1 for 3 on Saturday, also had 2 RBI to his name. On the year, the sophomore hitting a blistering .351 in 37 at-bats coming into the state tournament. He also has 17 runs driven in on the campaign. First pitch of the at-bat to Molnaric is up and away, ball 1. Runner at first is Charlie Swoboda. Hunter Spencer tagged up on that diving line drive catch by Quentin Hibbert out in center field that allowed Bennington to score their first run of the game. Here's the 1-0. Swung on, hit well up the center, up the middle, and into center field it goes for a 2-out single, and that'll allow Swoboda to get up to second base. Kellen Molnaric gets a base knock with 2 outs and continues to pass the baton down the lineup for the Bennington Badgers as Lane Bover will step into the box. Bover getting the start at third base today. He was 0 for 2 with a RBI and a strikeout on Saturday in the matchup against the Seward Blue Jays. Bover on the season, he is hitting around 300. Runners at first and second, 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Shadwinkle checks the runner at second twice and now fires home, and he fires in a ball 1-0.
Bennington's doing a good job with their approach at the plate, Nick. Schumann went after the first pitch. He saw it well out of the hand. Smith lined it to center. That single from Molnaric was well hit right back up the middle. They're not fooled by anything Shadwinkle's trying to do right now, which means if they know what's coming, they can pick it up well. He's got to locate much better.
Shadwinkle, the 1-0 offering is on its way. Swung on, fouled off to the right side, and we'll do it at 1 ball, 1 strike. Wind is blowing heavily down out to right field. 3:15 to the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here's the pitch in the bottom of the first. Low and away. 2-1.
Even that breaking ball, they're an antsy, jumpy team, a mentally tired team, might chase that, especially with an RBI opportunity out there. Good patience there from Bover.
2 balls, 1 strike. 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. 1-0 Bennington. They have a runner in scoring position, and this 2-1 offering is taken for a called strike, 2-2. The runner at second is Charlie Swoboda. The runner at first is Kellen Molnaric. Jack Essink stands in the on-deck circle. But first, the 2-2 pitch with 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning to Lane Bover. Shadwinkle kicks and fires, swung on and missed, and a good job there by Kian Shadwinkle, limiting the damage for the Seward Blue Jays defense as he retires Bover on strikes for out number 3. We go to the top of the second inning. Bennington leads it 1-0 over the Seward Blue Jays here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Summertime is here. It's time to get to Brown's Shoe Fit for their May sandal sale. From now through May 31st, get $15 off all regular price sandals. Whether it's for hiking, for the lake, or just everyday sandals, Brown's has you covered. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your summer off right with the May sandal sale at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the top of the second inning. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman with you here at Warner Park on a day where it's still kind of cloudy and gloomy, but the rain has held off for the last 24 hours or so while we've been trying to play baseball at least, and it's been much appreciated as we've had little to no delays here throughout Monday, Tuesday, and even Friday and Saturday of last week. This is day 4 of the state baseball tournament, if you can believe it. Tomorrow, it's the possibility of only having 2 games, potentially working our way up to 4. But then Friday, we know it, just 3 games on the dial. They will start at noon. And so we'll have regularly scheduled programming up until noon on Friday. Thursday is completely normal as well. The first pitch of the top of the second inning is up and away for a ball to Colton Luce. Luce is the starting third baseman on the day for the Seward Blue Jays. 1 ball, no strike here from Houston Hill. The pitch, low and away, 2-0.
Interested to see how Seward responds in this inning. They had a run gift wrapped for them essentially there in the top of the first inning, and they decided to say, no, thank you. We're not going to slide at second base, so the runner's interference wipes it off the board.
The 2-1 pitch to Colton Luce is on the outside corner for a strike, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from Hill. Inside corner, strike 2. He kind of took his knees away from that one. Felt like it was maybe riding in too much, but home plate umpire didn't think so. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Colton Luce as this one's chopped left side, but foul. And we'll do it again at 2-2.
That was a breaking ball there that Luce just got on top of. And that's what you want to do in high school. Unless the breaking ball is hanging up in a spot you can do damage with it, a lot of times you're just looking to fight it off till you get a fastball in a spot you can handle.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Colton Luce. Here's the pitch by Houston Hill. Breaker stays upstairs, 3-2. He's worked it full here in the top of the second inning to lead it off. 5, 6, and 7 due up in the Seward Blue Jays batting order. Luce, the third baseman for the Blue Jays. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, hit left side in the 5-6 hole. Good backhand by the shortstop. Sidearm throw. Nice play by the Bennington shortstop, Hunter Spencer. As he worked to his right, backhanded it deep in the 5-6 hole, threw it across the diamond from the sidearm angle on a perfect throw to the first baseman, Charlie Sabota, to get out number 1.
Spencer did a good job of, first of all, getting to that one that was hit in the hole. His last couple steps, though, Nick, he was able to get enough of his momentum moving forward, not just to his right, to get enough on that throw to retire Luce.
So now that brings up Declan Lindau. Lindau getting the start in right field today. The first pitch of the at-bat to him is upstairs, 1-0. Lindau on Saturday was 0 for 2 with a walk against this Bennington Badgers squad. In yesterday's game, he was 1 for 3 as he swings and misses at that one, 1-1. So once again, Seward in elimination game yesterday, they beat Ralston 3-0. They scored 2 runs in the third, 1 run in the fourth. That was a game that got done late into the night at around 11:30. As the 1-1 offering is high, 2 balls, 1 strike coming up to Declan Lindau. A game where Seward scored 3 runs on 3 hits, but they took advantage of 5 Ralston errors. And then they had a complete pitching performance by Colton Luce. 7 innings, 3 hits allowed, no earned runs, 1 walk. How about 14 strikeouts, young man?
Woo!
3 balls, 1 strike to Declan Lindau, as he takes strike 2. And Declan works a full count. It's now 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the top of the second inning to the Seward 6-hitter. Lindau the righty, Houston Hill the righty. The righty-righty matchup swings, and it's fouled back to the screen, and it'll be a redo at 3-2.
Lindau doesn't look overly comfortable in the box with that swing.
So Declan Lindau, the starting right fielder today. Here's the pitch from Houston Hill. Down the middle for a strike. Called strike 3, and Lindau will trot back to the dugout down on strikes, as that is the first strikeout of the day for Houston Hill on the mound. And that brings up Quinn Berner, the second baseman for the Seward Blue Jays. Berner yesterday was 0 for 2. He did score a run and was walked one time against the Ralston Rams. On Saturday against Bennington, Berner 0 for 3. Here's the pitch to Berner. Outside, 1-0. On Saturday, the bottom 3 hitters, we talked about this yesterday with Millard South, how good their bottom third of the order was. On Saturday for Seward, their bottom third of the order was a combined 0 for 9. You got to have a little bit of production from your bottom third, and these guys of Quinn Berner, Quentin Hibbert, and Connor Swaysion in this case tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike here from Houston Hill. Outside, well outside, 2-1.
If you're not going to get on base, the least you can do is help to drive up that pitch count. Have long at bats, not go chasing pitches that you can't handle.
2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the second. Here's the pitch from Houston Hill. Swung on, fouled back to the right side by Quinn Berner. It's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the second. It's 1-0 Bennington here. Both sides with 1 hit. The 2-2 pitch from Hill. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. That's a strikeout number 2 for Houston Hill. And Seward goes down in order here in the top of the second inning. We turn to the bottom half of the second, due up the bottom third of the Bennington order. 7, 8, 9, Essink, Fitzgerald, and Beekler due up for Bennington here in the home half of the second inning. We'll come back in 60 seconds right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hey, what are you talking about over there? Huh? I said, what are you talking about?
You know, Bill, I think it's time for both of us to get our hearing checked. We should head over to Christensen Hearing Analytics.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about them. They offer a free hearing consultation and screening, affordable hearing aid prices, and a knowledgeable staff with over 30 years of experience.
Visit Christensen Hearing Analytics today in Williamsburg Village or give them a call at 402-489-3450. Christensen Hearing Analytics. A better life starts with better hearing.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Standard, Austin Norman back with you here in the bottom of the second inning. The first pitch of the second inning's tapped out to the pitcher by Jack Essink. It's fielded cleanly by Shadwinkle and thrown over to first in time for out number 1. And so 1 pitch, 1 out, bringing up Jace Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald, the right fielder today for the Bennington Badgers. Good bounce back there by Shadwinkle after allowing a run in the bottom of the first inning. You're able to get the first out in just 1 pitch. Here's the first pitch of the day to Jace Fitzgerald, and it's in there for a strike, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out Here's the pitch from Shadwinkle. Swung on and missed. Miles behind that fastball was Jace Fitzgerald, the left-handed Bennington batter, and it is now quickly 0-2.
Shadwinkle's velocity isn't that high, which tells you Fitzgerald was just indecisive.
Yeah. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Shadwinkle with a little Johnny Cueto hesitation, and the 0-2 pitch is just low out of the zone, 1-2.
I know you had to watch a lot of Johnny Cueto growing up as a Cubs fan against the Reds. What's your opinion on Johnny Cueto?
I liked him.
Johnny Cueto will forever hold a special place in my heart as a Royals fan.
1-2. That ball fouled straight back into the net. We'll do it again. I think a lot of people, maybe even the ones that are around Nebraska, will remember him as a Royal for his short time. Had a lot of success as a Kansas City Royal.
But only at home. He was really bad on the road.
The 1-2 pitch, just a tad outside, 2-2.
We both benefited, though, from Ben Zobrist in back-to-back years.
That is correct. Back-to-back years, Ben Zobrist. It's funny you bring up Ben Zobrist. Came across Ben Zobrist's Instagram. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This one grounded softly. It's going to get past the pitcher's mound, fielded cleanly by the shortstop, Lose, and he is unable to pick it cleanly over there at first base. Rather, that is Bryson Burt at shortstop, who was able to field it cleanly. The throw was in the dirt. He had time to get the base runner Fitzgerald, but it is going to go as an error no, they're going to give him a hit.
That looked like a throwing error to me. It looked like Burt palmed that one a little bit too much. He spiked it. Riley probably could have dug it out over there at first base. I would call that an E6, but the official scoring is an infield single.
So as I was saying, I came across Ben Zobrist's Instagram just a couple of days ago, and he went to a parade to celebrate the Royals World Series championship. And it was like 3 weeks before that, the Cubs held one as well. And so he just goes around between those two organizations celebrating championships, I guess.
Two of the most storied organizations in baseball for different reasons.
The first pitch of the at-bat to Mason Beekler is fouled off to the right side, 0-1. Runner on first is Jace Fitzgerald. Mason Beekler, the 9-hole hitter. Here's the pitch from Shadwinkle. Low and away, 1-1.
Fitzgerald gets almost down in a sumo stance for his lead. He's not very far off the base despite playing in the outfield.
1 ball, 1 strike is the count to Mason Beekler. Here's the 1-1 offering from Shadwinkle. Runner goes. It's a ground ball hit to the right side. The only play will be to first. And gliding over to his left to make the throw over to first after fielding the ground ball was Quinn Berner, and he does so successfully to retire Mason Beekler. But that does allow the runner to move to second base with no problem. Jace Fitzgerald now moves over on the fielder's choice, and it's 4-3 on the ground out for out number 2, bringing up the top of the lineup, Morgan Schumann. Schumann grounded out on a hard ground ball to the third baseman, his first time up on the first pitch of the bottom of the first.
Textbook hit and run there. Didn't sneak through, but good job at the bottom of the order of setting the table here for the top of game second run, just 180 feet away now.
1-0 is your score. Bennington out in front by a run. Here's the pitch. Shadwinkle delivers one over the heart of the plate. 0-1. Austin, I'm noticing that the home plate umpire here, he goes and does the strike motion to whichever side the batter is not at. And so with a left-handed hitter, the umpire is turning to his left. I'm not a fan. I got to be honest. It was a weird visual from up here in the booth. On the called strike there to Morgan Schumann.
Makes you wonder how he developed that system, because
I'm telling you,
traditional in baseball is you point to the right if it's a strike.
Yep.
And maybe if you want to get unorthodox, you'll point to the left if it's a ball.
Yep.
Maybe it's like an open hand, but usually you just don't signal at all.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. The pitch swung on, hit left side. Is that going to get down? It will, but they're going to have to hold the runner at third because of the wind blowing directly out to right field. The Seward Blue Jays left fielder, Tyler Hammond, who is not in the lineup today, he's getting DH'd for, was playing extremely shallow. And so that little blooper by Schumann, it counts as a single. However, it does not get the RBI because staying at third was Jace Fitzgerald. Good call there by the Bennington third base coach, Scott Heese. So now with still 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning, Shadwinkle trying to get out of the jam. He's got runners at the corners. Bennington trying to add on to their one-run advantage. The first pitch of the at-bat to Hunter Spencer. Rather, we're going to have a pickoff instead. I'm getting texts, by the way, Austin, that people are not happy that you called the Royals one of the more, what was the term?
Well, there's a storied franchise.
Storied franchise in all of baseball. Here's the pitch. First pitch of the at-bat is low and away 1-0.
In my defense, I did say for different reasons, right?
Yeah,
the
sure.
Royals were, let's not miss the fact that the Royals were one of the best expansion franchises in sports history with how successful they were over the first really 25, 30 years of their existence. And then I came into the world and all went downhill until about 2015. So
then what happened? 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the second to Hunter Spencer. Shadwinkle delivers. It's low and away 2-0. You can tell Shadwinkle is starting to get a little concerned with Morgan Schumann over there at first base, pausing for a lot longer. Doesn't feel like he's in that much of a rhythm. Doesn't look like he's that comfortable when he's firing home either. Here's the pitch. The runner goes from first. This grounder to second baseman. Up with it is Burner over to first base in time. No harm, no foul. Shadwinkle gets out of the jam in the bottom of the second inning, and we go to the top of the third with your score, Bennington 1 and the Seward Blue Jays nothing. We'll be back in 60 seconds on 93.7 The Ticket.
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It's the top of the third inning. Your score, Bennington 1, Seward 0. Give to Lincoln Day is Thursday, May 29th, and 93.7 The Ticket is going to be out at Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to help generate funds. You can give ahead at givetolincoln.com and choose Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach, located just north of 27th and Holdridge. Due up in the top of the third for the Seward Blue Jays, it's hitters 8, 9, and 1. Hibbert, Swajan, and Burt. And here to tell you all about it, it's Austin Norman.
Thank you very much, Nick. As you said, 1-0 Bennington here into the third inning. Here's Quentin Hibbert. He is the center fielder for Seward today, wearing number 23, batting right-handed. Saturday against Bennington, Hibbert 0 for 3. Patrolled center field, had a couple nice catches in that one. Righty-righty matchup here. Houston Hill on the bump. Bennington Badger pitcher brings it home. Fastball taken outside, 1-0. Hibbert, Swajan, and Burt due up for Seward here. Hibbert gives the bat a waggle as he waits the delivery from Hill. Fastball right down the heart of the plate, 1-1.
Houston Hill, the guy on the mound for the Bennington Badgers, is going to be playing football and baseball at his next stop at Doane University.
The righty kicks and fires that one outside, 2-1. Very nice of the NSA to put together this college commitments list, which I'm glad we stumbled upon in the state baseball headquarters. It just goes to show you just how much baseball talent there is in the state of Nebraska and a lot of multi-sport athletes here. That one slapped to the right side by Hibbert. It's booted over at first base. Hibbert makes it to first base as the throw goes toward the Seward dugout.
I think they're going to call this out of
trickles
play.
into the Seward dugout. It looks like Bennington's catcher was able to grab the ball, but it must have just rolled onto that first step. So Quentin Hibbert is aboard on second base to lead off this third inning.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the old trustee making a mistake and compounding it into another one. The first baseman for Bennington over there, Charlie Swoboda, was booted the initial, fielding the ground ball. He knew he wasn't going to get the runner at first, Hibbert, but he still threw it. He threw an inaccurate ball. It went in towards the Seward dugout, and a free 90 feet was given.
Runner on second, nobody out for Seward. Blue Jays in business in the top of the third. Here's Connor Swajan, wearing number 18, batting right-handed, designated hitter today for Seward. Swajan squares to bunt. He takes a fastball on the outside edge, 0-1. Swajan facing a future teammate of his in Houston Hill. Swoboda now in on the grass after Swajan shows bunt on the first pitch of the at-bat. Spencer holding Hibbert close at second base. Swajan squares again, tapped down right in front of home plate. Smith will hop on it as it rolls foul. Now way up in the count, Houston Hill at 0-2.
Got to get this bunt down if you are Connor Swajan. 9-hole hitter, understand your role, and obviously he does, but understand there's a lot of talent at the plate that's coming up behind you. Get that guy over to third base. If I'm the third base coach, you kind of got in the gift having Hibbert at second. I would keep this bunt sign on for one more and say let's get our job done here.
Swoboda backs up, which means if Swajan has the bunt sign and he pushes it down that first baseline, it could be trouble for Bennington.
It doesn't have to be perfect here.
It does not. Hill gives a couple checks to Hibbert at second base. He'll slide step, bring it home. Swajan taps that one on the ground to shortstop. He'll do his job anyways. There's Spencer thrown across the diamond for out number one. So it wasn't a bunt, but it was a ground ball that ended up behind the runner. Hibbert moves up 90 feet anyways.
Yeah, and it was hit soft enough to where there was no real play at third. We've seen it a couple of times today, not necessarily where it's worked out for the defense, but we've seen it a couple of times where a ground ball hits to the shortstop will field it, fire it to third to try to get the lead runner out at third base. Whether that's the technical and correct play, that's up to subjective opinion, but that time there was no real play at third base, so it worked out.
The one that comes to mind for me is Brody Gindra throwing it away for Elkhorn South. It's not just yesterday. So now we're back to the top of the Seward lineup. It's Bryson Burt. He flew out in the first inning. Burt at shortstop today after starting on the mound for Seward against Bennington in Game 1 of this Class B state tournament. Righty-righty matchup, breaking ball outside, 1-0. Burt wears number 3. He's a 300 hitter on the nose this year. Driven in 9 runs. Gone deep twice. Hill comes set at the belt. He checks the runner Hibbert at third. He fires a fastball, letter high, 2-0. Infield in for Bennington. All 4 players at the edge of the grass, or they will be after they get into their fielding position. Hill's ready to bring home the 2-0. Swung on, in the air to right field. Right fielder backing up. That ball got carried by the wind. A fading jump throw into the infield. Bryson Burt, leadoff hitter for Seward, does his job. Hibbert trots home, and this game is tied at 1.
Good job. You saw what the wind can do when it gets up high enough. It's going to keep on taking that back. That was a fairly routine fly ball that in the last couple of seconds of it, it drove the Bennington right fielder, Jace Fitzgerald, back about 5 more steps, and he kind of caught it off balance. It did the job. 1-1. We're all tied up.
Don't forget, Seward could have had a run in the first inning had Kyle Riley slid into second base. Instead, he gets called for runner's interference. The run that crossed the plate didn't score. Boston Happ, today's catcher for Seward, takes ball 1. Now he watches ball 2 inside as well, 2-0. Happ slapped that single in the first inning. He was the one that made it to third base and would have scored the run. Happ awaits from Hill. That one chin high, 3-0. 2 away in the top of the third inning. Seward and Bennington tied at 1. Houston Hill's back in the windup with no traffic on base. Happ watches a fastball on the inside part of the plate, 3-1. We've seen that quite a bit this tournament, Nick. Players think they've drawn a walk. Umpire has to bring him back into the batter's box.
That only frustrates the home plate umpire a little bit more.
And again, Happ's the catcher. Happ swings in that one. It's going to twist and reach about the 8th row of seats down the first base line. Count runs full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Bennington just 1 pitch away from potentially being out of the inning. Hill gets a fresh pearl from his catcher, Smith. He's ready to bring it home. 3-2 swung on, fouled straight back to the screen. We'll do it again. Hill's right about where you want to be with pitch count. His next pitch will be his 49th through 2 2/3. He has allowed 1 run on 2 hits. This time he gets a called third strike for his 3rd strikeout of the day. Boston Hap goes down looking, and that will end the top of the 3rd inning. The Blue Jays knotted up at 1. Home team on the scoreboard. Bennington comes to bat in the bottom of the 3rd after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
When daily energy fades and your drive just isn't what it used to be, Game Day Men's Health helps you step back into top form. Game Day Men's Health is one of the country's fastest growing clinics, and they focus on men's wellness, providing customized solutions with professionalism and privacy in mind. Testosterone optimization, weight management, vitamin injections, and shockwave therapy are just a few of the many things they offer. Restore your energy and rediscover confidence with the help of Game Day Men's Health, because every man deserves to feel his best every day. Visit them online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com today or in person at one of their 2 locations in Omaha.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
1-1 in the bottom of the 3rd inning at Warner Park. Class B elimination game number 2 of the day. I'm Austin Norman, Nick Sainert alongside. Gretna East dominated in the first game, and Bryson Burt was not ready for that throw down to second base on the final warm-up pitch. Good thing Quinn Berner was there to back him up. So Kean Shadwinkle back to the mound after 2 innings of work. He's allowed 1 run on 3 hits, also plugged a batter and has walked 1.
Birds are active here at Warner.
So far, it's actual birds, not boo birds, but We'll see. We're at 3-4-5 in the Bennington order. Aiden Smith hit one on a line to center for a sacrifice fly that scored Hunter Spencer in the 1st.
Dangerous spot. It's a big inning and a big opportunity here for Kean Shadwinkle, right? If you can get through the heart of Bennington's order and still have it tied after 3 innings of play, you're feeling pretty good about your chances if you're Seward.
Smith takes a cut at the 1-0 offering, fouls it back over our heads 1-1. Seward hung around in the first game. Then the 5th and 6th innings happen.
Well, I think you look at this game like a segment, right? You take it chapter by chapter. You look at, okay, the first 3 innings, the second 3 innings, and then you hope that you just need 3 more outs to win the game. And I think, even if you look at it as a segment of 2 innings, you're looking here and saying, okay, it's a 1-run ball game, very, very manageable. Well, now it's tied. It's a brand new ball game. Now you're playing for the next 4 innings.
Shadwinkle fires a breaking ball low for ball 2. Now a fastball inside. 3-1 on Bennington's 3-hole hitter, Aiden Smith.
And I think that's how you have to look at it when you're a team that's underseeded or maybe lower seeded, right? Maybe a little undermatched.
Smith draws a walk on another fastball low and in to lead off the inning.
But yeah, a little undermatched. You have to. Seward's doing what they need to do, right? They've weathered the hits from Bennington. Bennington has 1 more hit than they do on the day. That was I believe, if I remember correctly, the first free pass of the day for Kean Shadwinkle on the mound. No, they had a hit by pitch earlier that came around to score.
And Swoboda walked.
Yes, and Swoboda walked. So there's been a couple of free passes, but from a defensive standpoint, you had a really nice plus play in center field by Quentin Hibbert. But then otherwise, you haven't committed a single error. Bennington's lucky that this game is tied right now because of 2 errors that the pitcher Houston Hill committed, and then later in the 3rd inning, you feel like if you're Seward, you should be up by 1 run.
Elliot Anderson is on first base running for Aiden Smith. Shadwinkle missed outside again, 1-0. And it says 0 in the error column for Seward, but Kyle Riley not sliding is one of those mental errors.
Absolutely, right? And that doesn't show up on the box score, but even without that, you feel like, Seward, if you're Seward, you've had guys on base against Houston Hill, who's a really, really strong pitcher. You feel like you have a chance.
Shadwinkle picks over to first base. Anderson dives back in time. So it's 1-0 to Charlie Swoboda. As we mentioned, he drew a walk in the 1st inning, his first at bat. reach second base would stay there. Swoboda's a righty. He waits for Shadwinkle to come set at the belt. This one chopped on the ground to Berner at second base. Runs up his arm. Berner will just have to take the out at first. So Charlie Swoboda moves Elliot Anderson over to second base. Looked like a tailor-made double play there, Nick, with the lead runner, the speedier one, dead to rights on the hard ground ball, but Berner just couldn't handle that second hop.
Yeah, and once again, right, do your job. Do what's necessary. Assure yourself of one out. They did it. He knocked it down with his chest. We've seen it, right, in crucial moments. We've seen it where guys will bounce out of the way or try to get out of the way of a ground ball and try to just stab at it with a backhand or whatever it may be. This case, Berner did a great job at second base. He fielded two really tough ones in the last inning, too. Did a great job just bodying it up. Let that chest hit it. Like you said, it rolled up his arm, but it was right there, and he had plenty of time to get Swoboda at first.
Shadwinkle is approaching 50 pitches, and Seward decides to send a couple players and a coach out to center field to start warming up in the bullpen. Here's Kellen Wilnart. He singled back in the first. Shadwinkle, a long look to second base. Continues to look. Now he peers home, brings home the first pitch of the at-bat. Breaking ball just high, 1-0.
5 of Shadwinkle's 9 outs have come via the ground outs. That's what you want. If you're a pitcher that doesn't have overpowering stuff, allow your defense to go to work.
Shadwinkle ready to bring home the 1-0. Fakes the inside move, now brings it home. Fastball, upper outer part of the zone, 1-1. There's more of that Johnny Cueto again. A long turn and a turn that angled him back towards second base a little bit. Shadwinkle looked at second base as he started his delivery before bringing the fastball home. This time a short look at second base. Wilnart chops out on the ground to third. The runner was off on contact. Lose gave him a little bit of a look, Nick. I thought he could have maybe taken 1 or 2 steps backwards and tagged the lead runner, but instead Lose will go across to first base, 5-3 for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised that for a second that Lose didn't go for it, but this is what we just talked about, right? Assure yourself of the 1 out. They get the out nonchalantly at first base. It's 2 outs. Now you just worry about getting this guy at the plate, right? You don't worry about, okay, if I miss the tag, whatever it may be, having runners on the corners with less than 2. Here you just got to worry about the guy in the box.
The guy in the box is Lane Bover. Wearing number 26, 300 hitter. Skies that one down the right field line. Seward gives it a look. So Shadwinkle jumps ahead, 0-1 in the count. Bover struck out in his first at bat. That ended the bottom of the first. He was key as well with runners on first and second. Shadwinkle brings it into his body slowly. Now he'll kick and fire. Lace back up the middle, right into the glove of Seward's pitcher. So an L1 ripped off the bat of Lane Bover, but Shadwinkle doesn't panic. He secures it for the final out of the third inning. No damage comes from the leadoff walk to Aiden Smith. It's 1-1 Seward and Bennington as we head to the fourth at Warner Park. More Class B State baseball next on the ticket. Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com. Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back into high school baseball on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passions is easier with options, and that is what Doane offers students. A couple of these players that are playing for Bennington at that. Learn about undergraduate and graduate programs offering real-world experience at doane.edu.
Thank you, Nick. One of those Doane players is on the hill right now for Bennington. It is Houston Hill. Not just a baseball commit, a football commit as well. Morgan Schumann, outfielder, will also attend Doane, but that's on a football scholarship. Up to bat for Seward is Kyle Riley. Riley reached on an error back in the first inning. He was the one that was called out for runner's interference that prevented the first run of the game from scoring. Righty-righty matchup. Hill brings home the 1-0. Fastball in there for a strike, 1-1. Riley, good-sized dude, playing first base. Physical presence in that right-handed batter's box. Hill takes a long look into the glove of catcher Aiden Smith. Now he brings home the 1-1. It's low, 2-1. Gray day here at Werner Park. Wind whipping straight out to right field. Bennington in the blue jersey's got some pinstripes to it. Riley cues that one off the end of the bat. Foul down the first baseline, now 2-2.
They remind me a lot of the Husker softball red pinstripes. I think it's the same design.
That's a good call.
Script across the chest.
Mm-hmm.
Same way Husker softball does. I'm sure they'll wear those for their Supers appearance this week.
Riley fouls that off. We'll do it again at 2-2. I know a former associate of ours said they're the best uniforms on campus. I don't know if I agree, but they do look sharp.
Look very sharp, yeah.
And they look even better with the Super Regional appearance, as you noted.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Here comes Houston Hill's 2-2 pitch to Kyle Riley. Breaking ball, laced back up the box, but there is the second baseman. Fires across the diamond to first in time. Good backhanded play by Jack Essink, and Kyle Riley down for the first out of the top of the fourth. 4-3 on the putout. That brings up Seward starting pitcher Kean Shadwinkle. He's the one that made the contact in the first inning that could have been an RBI fielder's choice. Hill into his windup. First pitch of the at-bat, fastball, just missed out, 1-0. 1-1 between Seward and Bennington. Blue Jays have 2 hits on the day. Shadwinkle ready for the pitch from Hill. Breaker tails outside, 2-0.
This is where Seward can do some damage against Houston Hill. Get ahead in the count like you have. Put some good, find a barrel on a baseball, on a 2-0 fastball that Houston Hill may leave over the heart of the plate.
Shadwinkle chops that one to third base. Good read by the third baseman. He backed up to play it on the second hop instead of taking the tricky one. That one's across the diamond in time for the second out. Not always an easy play there for Bover, Nick. Do you charge the first one? Do you wait for the second one? He did a good job of making that hop a big enough hop that he could handle, kind of step through and get his momentum going across the diamond. So a couple ground outs for the first 2 outs of the frame. And here's Colton Lose. Lose grounded out to shortstop, leading off the second. Another righty-righty matchup. Hill's ready to bring it home. This one swung on, hit well to center field, sending the center fielder back, over his head. It's going to roll to the warning track. Colton Lose to second base. He makes the turn. He's going to slide into third base. Now he decides to stand up. It is a stand-up triple with 2 outs for Colton Lose. Probably the best struck ball we've seen all day here in the Class B state tournament at Werner Park.
Yeah, that ball was hit incredibly well off the bat of Lose. He hit that right back where it came from. He was took a first pitch fastball off of Houston Hill, and the center fielder for Bennington, Mason Beekler, knew it was over his head. I thought he was going to get there. The wind that's pushing out towards right center just gave it enough extra juice to get over the head of Beekler, and Seward is a base hit away from taking a lead.
So that does bring up Declan Lindau. He went down looking on strikes in the second. First pitch swing, there's a little tapper. Going to be a tough play for Bover. He's there. Crow hop across the diamond in time. So Lindau, first pitch swinging. Nothing doing for Seward. Nothing comes from the 2-out triple by Colton Lose. And Bennington, the number 2 seed here in the Class B state tournament, is still tied at 1 with 7th-seeded Seward. We'll be back for the home half of the fourth in just a moment on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
1-1 halfway through here at Warner Park in a Class B state tournament elimination game. I'm Austin Norman, joined by Nick Sainer. Stepping into the right-handed batter's box, the second baseman for Bennington, Jack Essink. He tapped back to Kian Shadwinkle back in the second inning. That's 7, 8, 9 in the Badger lineup. Essink, Fitzgerald, and Beekler. That group made some havoc in the second, but didn't score. Fastball turned into by Jack Essink, but not quite inside enough. It's just 1-0. Shadwinkle checks that armband for the sign. Now he strides to the mound. He'll fire. There's a fastball. Jammed Essink. Burners on it. He sits on it, makes the throw to Riley at first base, 1 away. 2 pitches, 1 out for Kian Shadwinkle in the bottom of the fourth as Essink grounds out for the second time today.
Another ground out for Shadwinkle on the mound. That's 7 now on the day. 7 of the 10 have been out via the ground out, which you might say is not doing a whole lot. On a day like this where the wind's blowing out in favor of the offense, it's a big feather in the cap of the Seward Blue Jays pitcher.
Shadwinkle missed low and into Jace Fitzgerald on the first pitch of the at-bat. It's 1-0. Fitzgerald is a lefty, 289 batter this year. Where's number 5? There's a breaking ball over the heart of the plate, 1-1. Shadwinkle's relied mostly on that fastball. He's busted out the breaking ball a couple times as well. He's ready to bring home the 1-1. Kicks, deals, skips up there. Not picked by Happ. Rolls to the backstop, 2-1.
That drilled the umpire on the inside part of his right leg. He's going to take a moment as that. Those are one of those. It doesn't hit you square on. That was more of a graze. It doesn't. You don't feel it initially, and then you sit there and you start to feel the burn of that lace.
That one skied in the air to right center field. Drifting back is Lindau, but Hibbert calls him off to make the catch for the second out of the inning. Hit pretty well by Fitzgerald. Wind helped take that one a little bit. As an outfielder, former outfielder, I should say, I can really appreciate the communication. Lindau looked like he was there. Hibbert said, nope, I have a better beat on it. I'm going to take that one.
And that's my thing is with the ground ball outs, I'm not to harp on them, but we saw what the wind did to Colton Lose's ball for the Seward Blue Jays last half inning. We see what it did there. Those are routine pop flies, but on a day like this, nothing's really routine when it gets up into that atmosphere.
Shadwinkle now set to face Mason Beekler. He fires a breaking ball in for strike 1 to jump ahead 0-1. Beekler grounded out to second in the second inning. Fouls that one back to the screen. Now he's down 0-2 very quickly.
Shadwinkle just keeps on pumping strikes. I mean, that's what you need in a tied ball game where it feels like everything's magnified. Keep your guys in it. Don't allow free passes.
Beekler down 0-2. Shadwinkle brings home a breaking ball. Tapped through the left side. It's going to squirt through the 5.5 hole. So Mason Beekler sets the table for the top of the order with 2 away in the bottom of the fourth. Not hit well, but hit right where it needed to be for a single. 4th hit of the day for the Badgers. That ends a streak of 5 in a row retired from Shadwinkle. Here's Morgan Schumann, left fielder for Bennington today. He singled his last at bat in the second inning. Schumann wears number 9. He is a .347 batter this season. He swings from the left side, open stance. Shadwinkle brings home a breaking ball. It's in there, strike one. Since we're third time through the lineup, we see it a lot in major and minor league baseball, the third time through the order penalty. More often you see a guy's stuff, what he has to offer, the more likely you are to pick it up well. Schumann's 1 for 2 on the day. He awaits the 0-1 pitch. No pitch. It's a soft lob throw over to first base by Shadwinkle. Beekler back in plenty of time.
It just feels like in a game like this, as we get later and later in the ballgame, you're going to need to wreak some havoc on the base paths. Not necessarily here with 2 outs, but feels like that's how this game's going to play out.
Schumann got jammed. He flips it down the third base line. It hung up in the air, and Colton Lowe squeezes it for the third out of the home half of the fourth. We're knotted at 1 through 4 innings in a Class B state tournament elimination game. It's Seward versus Bennington on 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention! Acres is cutting interest rates and offering great deals below market value on the largest selection of used inventory in the nation. For a limited time, Acres is offering interest rates as low as 2.9% on our late model John Deere ag equipment. Acres' low interest rates, along with our below market prices on select John Deere used planters, tractors, sprayers, and combines, makes it a great time to upgrade your equipment for the 2025 season. Visit acres.com for details. That's AKRS.com. Offer ends May 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
1-1 as we enter play in the top of the fifth inning. Bennington back in the field. Seward up to bat. 1 run on 3 hits for the Blue Jays. Here to tell you about the home or visitors half of the fifth, Nick Sainer.
Thank you, Austin, as it'll be hitters 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Seward Blue Jays in the visiting half of the 7th inning. I mentioned just a moment ago, it feels like this game could certainly be impacted by some havoc wreaked on the base paths. And it feels like Seward is a little bit more built and set up to operate that way. Now, if that's the way that they end up playing this game, we'll find out. But Houston Hill still on the bump for the Bennington Badgers as it is a first pitch strike to Quinn Berner. Berner's had a nice day in the field. He's fielded a lot of hard-hit ground balls that have gotten his guys, his defense, out of some innings. But the 0-1 pitch, breaking ball, stays up out of the zone. 0-1-1 coming up for Quinn Berner. Houston Hill on the bump. But like I said, it's going to start for Seward by getting one guy on, and then whether that guy moves to second via a sacrifice bunt or being able to swipe a bag, it just feels like that's what one of these sides needs to kind of jumpstart the rest of their offense.
Feels in some cases like the next run wins, but it also feels like it might take a couple more. I think this game, it's not early anymore, but it's certainly not late. You guys still have a couple chances if you're both sides, but you got to start going sooner than later.
1 ball, 2 strike. The breaking ball is in there for a called strike 3. It buckles Quinn Berner, and it's a backwards K for Houston Hill. By my count, that is his 4th strikeout on the day. And so that brings up Quentin Hibbert. Hibbert, the center fielder, reached on an error by the first baseman. He advanced to second on that same play because the first baseman, Sabota, not only booted the ground ball, but he threw it into the dugout of Seward. And so advancing to second base was Hibbert to start the 3rd inning. And then he ended up coming around to score on a sacrifice fly. He fouls off the first pitch of the AB out to the right. 0-1. Houston Hill back on the bump, working from the windup. The righty-righty matchup on the way. Outside corner, good spot by Houston Hill. And it's now 0-2 quickly to Quentin Hibbert. This is one of those innings, as like Austin said, third time through. This is the second time through right now for the Seward Blue Jays. But it's one of those things where as the 0-2 pitch buckles him, made him look silly, and it's a strikeout on 3 pitches and the second backwards K of the inning. I said it, though, this is one of those that if you are Bennington Badgers head coach Scott Heese or anybody in that dugout, you're sitting here saying, okay, bottom third of the order. You don't have anybody warming up quite yet. We want to see Houston Hill carve these guys up, and let's get us to the 5th inning still tied, and so far 2 up, 2 down. Breaking ball stays upstairs to the designated hitter, Connor Swajan, and it's a ball 1-0.
Still no activity in that Bennington bullpen, which makes sense as Hill is cruising right now.
Here's the pitch, and it's on the outside corner. It's a breaking ball, strike 2. Connor Swajan, the only athlete on this Seward team that's committed to play at the next level, and he's going to Doane to continue his baseball career as he takes the 1-1 pitch up and away for a ball, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch, swung on and missed. A hearty cut by Swajan, and we're all evened up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Houston Hill trying to work a 3 up, 3 down inning. It's inside, almost hit him. And it's now full 3-2 as the aroma of popcorn and butter has started to fill the press box. Somebody must be wafting it up our way. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch. Outside, and there's a 2-out walk to the 9-hole hitter, Connor Swajan. So here you go. It is the top of the order, Bryson Burt. Burt 0 for 1 on the day. He had a sacrifice fly back in the 3rd inning. Connor Swajan, not the quickest of guys out there for the Seward Blue Jays. He occupies first base. Very conservative lead over there at first. Here's the first pitch, the at-bat to Burt. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-1.
You mentioned something about havoc on the base paths. I think you were on to something. With the reentry rule, even though there's 2 outs, it's the top of your order. Maybe this would have been a situation you consider a pinch runner.
No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Low and away. 1-1. And I think maybe we have that conversation. We said it yesterday in the frame of we were surprised to see that in that juncture of the game that a coach made a substitution in this similar situation. I think if we get to see Swajan advance to second base, then maybe that's where we see Seward go with that conversation of let's get somebody that's already at second base. Let's have that conversation and move him over, or rather sub him out for a pinch runner.
The only thought I have as to substituting him at first is, do you think you can rip off a bag?
Yeah. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled back, and it's even 2-2. It's certainly part of that strategy that if you're Seward head coach Brock Anderson, you got to have kind of already thought about in the back of your mind. Sure, there's ebbs and flows of a game, but it's, you're in the top of the 5th inning here. Do you feel like you're going to have another opportunity where you wouldn't want to utilize that 1 reentry rule now? As the great jump is throwing it down the field and sliding into second safely is Connor Swajan. That was a prototypical and I should say predictable steal for Connor Swajan just because he started to gallop, or I should say shuffle off of the first base bag. Houston Hill needs to mix up timing because that was far too easy for Connor Swajan. The 3-2 pitch. It's in there. Strike 3 called. Bryson Burt tossed his bat back to the dugout. He thought that he was going to be awarded first base, but instead he's awarded a strikeout here to end the top of the 5th inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Your score 1-1 between Seward and Bennington here on 93.7 The Ticket.
You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, make flying easy.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Warner Park. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman alongside. A good little duel between Coach Hazy's squad and Coach Brock Anderson for the Seward Blue Jays. We are tied up at 1 as Bennington will send hitters 2, 3, and 4 to the plate here in the bottom of the 5th inning, all knotted up at 1 run apiece. Important for Shadwinkle on the mound to get this leadoff guy as the first pitch is up and out of the zone, 1-0. It feels, though, Austin, like we can – I imagine that I'm speaking – it's okay to speak for yourself here, but it's a matter of it feels like as it's 2 balls, no strikes, you're starting to feel each moment as each out is recorded get bigger and bigger and bigger because the time is winding down, and you can feel that with each pitch, the pressure is starting to mount larger and larger for these guys.
That it is, especially off a day like yesterday, like we said at the top of the broadcast, where these two teams played a lot of baseball. Bennington in the marathon with the rain delay, Seward with its game getting pushed back as well. I guess Bennington had the 12-inning game. Both these teams it feels like kind of fighting for their lives right now. They don't feel tight. They don't feel overpressed. It just feels like these are two teams that are pretty evenly matched. They're just trying to still feel each other out.
This one hit well right side into right field for a base hit. A nice piece of hitting by Hunter Spencer on the leadoff single, and Bennington's in business here in the bottom of the 5th.
Right where you want to be if you're the Badgers. Your leadoff guy gets on in the number 2 spot. You have 3, 4, 5 due up. And to your point, Nick, every 90 feet feels more important right now in a game where there's only been 2 runs scored combined and not that many more scoring opportunities. Seward's maybe missed 1 or 2. Bennington's maybe missed 1 or 2. It's not like it's been, a busy day on the base paths or especially with runners in scoring position. So we'll see what Bennington decides to do on the aggressiveness scale.
Here comes Aiden Smith into the box. The runner goes, and it's no, they're not going to call it a foul ball. He's going to try to steal third base as well, and he's able to get in. That's an additional 180 feet. There it is, the action on the base paths. That was confusing because Aiden Smith was showing bunt and then pulled back at the last moment, which can confuse and disrupt the sight of the catcher behind the plate. It did. It got to the backstop. I thought for a moment maybe it was a foul ball, but instead Hunter Spencer is able to go first to third on the wild pitch. It was a strike, though. And so it looks like the infield will play on the cut of the grass for the Seward Blue Jays in the bottom of the 5th. The pitch upstairs on Aiden Smith. That's now 1 ball, 1 strike.
This is where the strikeout looms large for Shadwinkle, Nick. He only has 1 strikeout all day. He hasn't been fooling Bennington. You need something on the infield, or preferably get a strikeout here. Get yourself an easy out.
Here's the 1-1 offering. Low and away, ball 2.
On the flip side of this, if you're Aiden Smith, coach has not put the bunt signal on, not giving any signs at all, trusting his 3-hole hitter to do a job. That looks a couple different ways. Either shoot something to the right side or get something up in the air, medium depth or further.
Here's the pitch by Shadwinkle. Up and in, 3-1 now.
And Shadwinkle hasn't given Smith anything to do the job with necessarily, right? It's been up. It's been a breaking ball out.
3 balls, 1 strike, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. A runner that could give Bennington the lead is 90 feet away. This one swung on, hit well. It's real deep into center field. Will be plenty deep to score the runner from third. Hibbert is able to haul it in for out number 1, but the Bennington Badgers, thanks to a wild pitch and 180 feet of free real estate, they were able to now take a 2-1 lead on a sacrifice fly here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
That's been the formula for Bennington. Spencer got hit by a pitch back in the first inning. It came around to scoring a sac fly by Smith. Here he hits a single, advances those extra 180 feet, as you noted, and another RBI sac fly for the 3-hole hitter, Aiden Smith.
Charlie Swoboda now steps in. Here's the first pitch of the AB from Shadwinkle. It's fouled back to the net, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike to Charlie Swoboda. Swoboda, the first baseman. He is 0 for 1 today. He grounded out to the second baseman his last time up, walked back in the first. He takes strike 2. It's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Shadwinkle delivers, and this one will be fouled off to the right side. It'll get to the bleachers. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Shadwinkle giving himself plenty of time in between pitches. Now he fires on 0-2. It's low and away, 1-2.
The only 1 out in the inning. Still plenty more Bennington can do to try to extend this lead. If you're Seward, you want to get out of this inning with just the 1 run allowed. Don't mess around. If you're Shadwinkle, keep pitching to contact. It's worked really well for you. Like I mentioned, just the 1 strikeout so far here, Nick. Smith really squared it up. Spencer's line drive single was pretty solid. Other than that, it's been a lot of choppers. It's been a lot of relatively weak contact. Shadwinkle's got to keep trusting that the defense is going to put in work for him.
Another foul off to the right side, and we'll do it again at 1-2. Doing a good job of just staying in the zone for the most part. Hard contact, but on a day like today, not going to find a lot of gaps, I would imagine. This one hit on, and it's going to be given out a chase to right field, and under it is the right fielder for out number 2. So F9 on the put out for Charlie Swoboda, and now with 2 outs, bringing up Kellen Molnaric. Molnaric, he singled back in the first. He was...
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
From Shadwinkle. Breaking ball works itself back to the heart of the zone, and it's now 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. This one skied high, shallow right field. The right fielder races over, has it under his eyes, and is able to, or has his eyes under it rather, and is able to grab it for out number 3. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Seward needs a run. They trail it 2-1 here in the top of the 6th. We'll be right back in 60 seconds on 93.7 The Ticket.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a 4-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carricker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Due up for Seward in the top half of the sixth inning with Bennington up by 1 run. It's going to be hitters 2, 3, and 4 in the top of the sixth. Big opportunity for the Seward Blue Jays. Let's find out what happens here with Austin Norman.
Thank you, Nick. They're down 2-1 here, as you mentioned, in the sixth inning. 1 run on 3 hits for the Blue Jays. The man that had the first of those hits strides to the plate now in the form of catcher Boston Happ. Happ had that pitch skip to the backstop during Aiden Smith's at bat that allowed the runner to move up not just to second base, but all the way to third base, led to the sacrifice fly and the game's go-ahead run scoring. Happ watches a pitch up and out, 1-0. We did see a couple bodies head down toward the Bennington bullpen. One of them is number 11, Christian Moreno. Happ watches a breaking ball trail outside, 2-0. 6 outs to go for Seward. Got to be judicious, patient, but aggressive at the same time in the batter's box. Happ awaits the 2-0, watches the fastball outside, 3-0. It's maybe not taking all the way. Certainly 3-0. I would expect the red light to be put on for Boston Happ. Loud ball 4 chant, and there it is. Seward crowd works its magic, and Boston Happ will trot 90 feet down to first base. In to run for him, number 19 rather, Carson Delkamp. So runner on first base, importantly the leadoff batter with nobody out for 3, 4, 5 in the Blue Jay order. It's Kyle Riley. Riley today reached on an error and grounded to second base. Delkamp, conservative lead at first base. He runs anyways. Riley shows bunt, throw, sails into center field. Looks like Delkamp's going to move up an extra 90 feet. Here's the throw to third base. That one's high over the head of Bover, who had the sky for it. It went over his head. Hill was a little late backing up, but luckily, fortunately for Bennington, it bounced off the netting in front of the Badger dugout, didn't roll in. Regardless, Delkamp now stands at third base with nobody out.
It's exactly what we talked about. Wreak havoc on the base paths. It was the first time today, or rather second time today, that the catcher, Aiden Smith, had to throw down to second, completely airmailed that one, and he allowed his chest to fly open as he planted down that left foot. And we're going to have a conversation on the mound, but that one goes straight into center field. What was even better, Carson Delkamp didn't attempt to slide. He stayed standing up. He noticed that the speed and direction of that throw from the catcher, Aiden Smith, was going into center field, and just decisively turned and went to third immediately.
You talk about the throwing mechanics there from Aiden Smith, Nick. It's foot placement, and some of it's arm angle, too. It looked like Smith kind of threw that one more 3/4, not over the top. More over the top you come with that throw, it's going to be more on a line. You don't hate a throw up the second base side if you can have your shortstop coming from his position, catch it and apply the tag to the hip, the thigh, the knee, or the foot. Problem is that ball was about 8-9 feet in the air instead of the 4 or 5 feet in the air it needed to be.
Yeah, and I think, unfortunately, I mean, it varies by catcher a little bit. And what I would say sometimes is a lot of guys think they have a lot stronger of an arm than they actually do. And so a lot of times, try to get some momentum behind your throw, right? And we can do that with steps. We can do that getting ourselves into a direct line to second base. And then what we're trying to get to is that power position. Get to that power position just like when we're playing catch. It's that old cliche reference. Just play catch with the second baseman.
First baseman Kyle Riley up to the plate. He takes a fastball outside 1-1. Obviously, stolen base is more common in high school and college and becoming, more popular again in the major leagues. But Nick, as a catcher, what's the mindset, right? You're excited for your moment, the adrenaline get going. There's a runner going. How do you have to manage that?
It's just make a throw. I mean, honestly, it's like don't make it bigger than what it needs to be. I think, though, here's the thing, Austin. I told you during a commercial break a couple innings ago, this game's shaping up to where Seward's going to be able to hang around and it's shaping up to that's how Seward wins this game. It's a weird feeling right now that Bennington's losing command on the mound in Houston Hill. It's now 3 balls, 1 strike. The runner gets to third base via an error on the catcher. Bennington has 3 errors on the day. There's things that Bennington are doing that are uncharacteristic. That's how Seward what they needed to have happen to win this game.
Kyle Riley's in the right-handed batter's box, watches that fastball down the pipe, 3-2. If you're Seward, you can't have your leadoff runner reach, make it all the way to third base, and come away empty-handed. We're in the 6th inning. It's a 2-1 ball game. Badgers on top of the Blue Jays. 3-2 from Hill. Riley, defensive swing. He'll stay alive. We'll do it again.
Any way possible. Understand, you mentioned, how do you let the adrenaline rush not become too much for you? That's what Kyle Riley needs to do right here. Understand anything. Just put the ball in play. Do not go down with that bat on your shoulder.
Rips it right to shortstop. Attempted the double play just back in time is Delkamp. That was very close. Kyle Riley smoked that ball on the screws with the infield in. It was right at the Bennington shortstop. Hunter Spencer made a nice play, took a couple steps to get Bover back to the bag. That was really close at third base, Nick.
Yeah, and that's a simple idea of just it's frustrating, and you have to trust the process and not infatuate yourself with the results. That's a really nice swing by Kyle Riley. Put a good barrel on the baseball. Just unfortunately right at the shortstop.
Now it's Kean Shadwinkle's turn. He grounds it up the middle under the glove of the diving shortstop. Spencer Kean Shadwinkle helps himself out. Seward starting pitcher drives in the Blue Jays' 2nd run of the day. This game is tied at 2.
Great job infield playing in, obviously, because they're trying to cut down the run at home, but Kean Shadwinkle did just enough to where it got past the outstretched glove of the Bennington shortstop. I was surprised to see the runner at third not off with contact. A lot of times we see contact read. Head coach Brock Anderson over at third base elected not to have the contact read on, and it still works out in Seward's favor.
Especially on that play where that ball was hit up the middle. To third base, maybe you freeze, but to the shortstop's left, probably off with contact. Shadwinkle dives back into first base after the pickoff throw. So runner on first, 1 out, the situation for Seward. This game now tied at 2. Striding to the plate, Colton Lose, his previous at bat, he smoked a triple to center field with 2 outs, but was stranded there. Lose, a righty, waits the pitch from Hill, swung on, ripped down the left field line. The line keeps moving for Seward.
Incredible swing from Colton Lose. I wouldn't be surprised to see some action in that Bennington Badger bullpen start to really ramp up here. Houston Hill struggling with command and not talking about just giving them ball after ball. I'm talking about leaving some over the heart of the zone.
Back-to-back singles for Seward, and now the Blue Jays have the go-ahead run at second base. Here's Declan Lindau, number 12, playing right field today for Seward. He struck out looking and grounded to third. Corners in, middle's deep on the infield for the Badgers. Hill comes set, gives a couple quick checks to second base. That breaking ball blocked by Aiden Smith, 1-0. Bennington took the game's first lead in the bottom of the first. Seward tied it at the top of the third. Bennington just took the lead in the bottom of the 5th, and Seward rallies right back to tie it at 2. Aggressive lead at second base. But back in time is Kean Shadwinkle as the hitter Declan Lindau takes ball 2. 2-0, Nick. It's been a hit parade for Seward these last few batters. 1 pitch, 1 spot for Lindau. Can't try to do too much, though. Hill's 2-0. Comes set again in the dirt. 3-0. Houston Hill is laboring. He's lost his mechanics a little bit. He's lost the feel. He's up over 90 pitches, just shy of 100. The Doan commit has the ball on the rubber. He holds it behind his back in that right hand. He comes set belly high. Brings home the 3-0 pitch. Lindau squares the bunt. He'll pull back, taking all the way 3-1. 3-1 count. 1 away. Top of the 6th inning, tied at 2. Hill's ready to bring it home. Swung on and missed by Lindau. Now it's a full count.
Now here's go ahead.
So Lindell has not looked comfortable swinging the bat today.
He hasn't, but he's also got to realize now runners are going to be in motion, right? So now it's literally just a base knock anywhere.
Only one out, though.
That's right. Oh, thank you. So only one out, so never mind.
He watches that one just outside. Houston Hill battled back from 3-0, but Declan Lindell wins the battle. Now bases loaded for Seward. There is a force at any base for Bennington, but the bases are full of Blue Jays. 2 runs on 5 hits either way. 3 Bennington errors, the difference right now. Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Quinn Berner goes down on strikes, and Bennington has a force at any base trying to keep this game tied. Houston Hill has been a gutty performance for him. Bases full, Blue Jays. Here's Quentin Hibbert. First pitch swinging, flared in the air to right center field. Hanging up, and making the catch is Bennington center fielder Mason Beekler. Seward leaves the bases loaded. Bennington escapes with the game tied at 2. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Knotted at 2 between Seward and Bennington in the Class B state tournament on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly cloudy skies and it will be windy. An afternoon high near 63. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, a low around 43. And tomorrow, a slight chance of showers, storms in the afternoon. Otherwise, mainly sunny and breezy with a high near 67. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
2-2, Seward and Bennington here at Warner Park. Off Norman, Nick Sainert with you. Feels like Bennington just escaped. Seward had the bases loaded, only 1 out. Then Quinn Berner and Quentin Hibbert both were out unproductively. So Bennington brings to the plate 6, 7, and 8. Lane Bovert, Jack Essing, and Jason Fitzgerald. They'll see Declan Lindell for a third time. Sorry, that's Kean Chadwick. Set to go here in the home half of the 6th. Bovert today has struck out and lined back to the pitcher. He takes low and in, ball 1. Apologies for any technical difficulties our broadcast might be having. Thanks for sticking with us here on the ticket. Shadwinkle overthrows that one. It's outside with the fastball, 2-0.
You know, for a team like Seward, Austin, you look and you go, or I guess if you're Bennington, you've given Seward hope. You feel like they know they lost the game on Saturday 8-1 to you. But at the end of the day, you feel like have given Seward hope that they can beat you here. And that's one of the worst things that you can do as a team that's favored or one of the higher seeds in the state tournament.
For all the hope Bennington's given Seward, the Blue Jays haven't turned that into enough runs to take the lead yet today. 3-0 fastball over the heart of the plate for a strike, now 3-1. Seward had a chance in the first. Looked like they scored a run for a moment. The batters and runner's interference took it off the board. Strike 2 over the outside edge. Bover had started to toss his bat back to his dugout, but he'll remain in the batter's box, full count.
And this is where it's approach, right? You got guys maybe looking to walk instead of trying to get something going. And now he swung, and the worst part is since he swung, he's out. No, they're going to award him first base. Ooh.
Depends on where it hits him. It sounded like it got him on the hand. He's certainly holding his fingers right now.
They're going to say that the home plate umpire is saying that he didn't go around.
Brock
Anderson is beside himself. I can't blame him because it looked like he went around. I mean, he swung full.
Key and Shadwinkle could see Lane Bover's script Badgers on the front. If home plate umpire is really saying he didn't go around, that's just a missed call, plain and simple.
Well, it's a missed call, but then here's where I have an even greater problem with it, is that he's not asking for help from the first base umpire. Brock Anderson has got to be careful here because he is fuming. And I can't blame Brock Anderson, the head coach. He just kicked a couple of dugouts in the Seward Blue Jays dugout. But here's what I'm going to get at is this is where, unfortunately, you're so careful and you, as an umpire, don't want to be wrong that you won't even consult your 3 other partners. There is a reason that there are 4 umpires at the state tournament so that you don't get calls like this incorrectly. But instead, we are not going to consult our first base umpire, where on an appeal, that is where you look down to see, did he go around? But instead, man, Austin, that's a tough call.
I would wager that even the Bennington fans in the stand said he went around. The Bennington argument might be, well, it hit him. It hit his body, not the bat, so that's got to be a hit by pitch. But, of course, the hand qualifies as part of the bat. It's unfortunate for a hitter, but that's just the break, right? That pitch ran way inside by Shadwinkle. Bover in a full count couldn't help himself. He started to swing. He went around. It hit him on the hand, bounced into fair territory.
I mean, once again, if you can't see it, Brock Anderson is going to have a conversation with the home plate umpire again. They're still having the conversation here. It seems like it's a little more tame this time around. However, once again, if you're the home plate umpire and you didn't notice or see that the batter swung, then that's fine. But the unwillingness to even consult any of the other 3 umpires that are out there, that's where I have a little bit of an issue with it, because you have to treat it as a check swing. You have to treat it like, did he go around? Did he not go around? That's the question here. And so now Seward, man, unlucky break for the Blue Jays. Shadwinkle needs to lock back in, do what he's done all game long, and try to induce a ground ball here.
He is tasked now with 7, 8, 9 in the Badger lineup. Jack Essink, Jace Fitzgerald, and Mason Beekler. So leadoff hit by pitch, nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Essink squares to bunt, misses up and out with the fastball, does Shadwinkle 1-0. High drama here in an elimination game in the Class B state tournament. We saw this matchup to start the tournament for both these teams, a game Bennington won 8-1. Seward's hung around in this one. Essink squares to bunt again. That fastball yanked low and out. It gets to the backstop, 390 feet for Bennington.
And we're starting to see to where Bennington gets a little life here, Austin. And because of they probably know a little bit in their minds they got away with one there. see if they can make Seward pay here in the bottom of the 6th.
Not been a great day behind the dish defensively for Boston Hap at catcher. But there, Nick, Shadwinkle's trying to do too much. He's at the end of his rope. He's given Seward everything he's got. He overthrew that fastball, ends up at the backstop. This one skied in the air on the infield. Shadwinkle calling for it. Riley retreats. Shadwinkle will squeeze it one away. So that is a pop out to the pitcher for the first out by Essing. That brings up Jace Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's seen it well. He's singled and flown out to Hibbert in center field today. I wouldn't take a bunt off the table if I were Bennington or Seward. Lose is on the cut, but Riley's deep, playing behind the bag. 2 runs on 5 hits for Bennington, looking to take their 3rd lead of the game. Shadwinkle comes set, brings it home, breaking ball in, strike 1.
Now, looking at it for Seward, if you can get out of this unscathed, what you have in the top of the 7th, 9-1-2, you feel pretty excited about what could happen for your Blue Jays in the top of the 7th here.
Shadwinkle double pumps as he comes set. Brings home the 0-1, missed outside, 1-1. Hop fires down to 3rd. Great read, aggressive read on the base paths by Lane Bover. That ball squirted out of the glove of Boston Hap, who's getting a talking to from his head coach right now. The infield's going to come in. Again, Nick, not a strong defensive day for Boston Hap. That's 90 feet that easily could have been saved by simply catching the ball.
Well, and catching the ball, but then he was pretty lackadaisical getting up from his stance as well. It's just a real disappointing day, and credit to Brock Anderson, the Seward head coach, getting this catcher's ear right there.
Infield comes in for Seward. Shadwinkle's 1-1. Swung on, chopped to first base, off Riley's glove into right field, and for the 3rd time today, Bennington holds a 1-run advantage.
Yeah, tough play for Riley over there at first base. He was playing in on the cut of the grass, trying on a routine ground ball to be able to cut down the run from at home, but that one hit pretty well. It was a one hopper that kind of went to Riley's right side. He was going to have to backhand it, and it was just kind of tough for the first baseman for Seward there. Bennington takes the 1-run lead, but now here you go. You got to keep it here. You cannot allow it. Your offense has not been consistent enough for Seward to where you've been able to get guys on base, haven't been able to hit them in. And so you got to figure out a way to keep it right here. Don't let this get a 2-run deficit for you, and with only 3 outs remaining.
Mason Beekler, right-handed batter, up to bat. Now he's grounded to second and singled. His team now leads 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th. Shadwinkle brings home a fastball. It's true, strike 1. Beekler this season, the senior, bats .260. He's driven in 5 runs. Pinch runner at first, Braden Closter for Bennington, wears number 15. Pick over from Shadwinkle, not in time.
You know, just to build off of what we saw a little while ago, it's sometimes if people are listening wondering, okay, did the catcher have to appeal on the check swing or whatnot? In high school, you don't. You don't need a catcher or a pitcher or anybody in the staff to appeal.
Closter breaks for second. Strong throw down to second by Hap, but taken on a hop by Seward's shortstop, Bryson Burt. So Braden Closter swipes another 90 feet for Bennington. Badgers have a runner in scoring position again with 1 away. Beekler's driven in 5 on the year. Number 6 would be a big one. He swings, pokes that one foul over the right field stands, 1-2.
Now we can also talk about just how baseball treats you, right? That run doesn't score if the ball doesn't get to the backstop. That ball doesn't score if we're not lackadaisical behind the plate. If you're Seward with a drop ball and then, slow to get up and really throw down third base side. Things like that matter in 1-run ball games.
Shadwinkle set. Brings home the 1-2. Breaking ball throws Beekler, but it just missed the zone, 2-2. We talk about the call that began the inning on the hit by pitch, Nick, but if Seward is unable to score in the top of the 7th, won't be for a lack of chances. Seward had a couple great scoring opportunities that it was unable to capitalize on before we even got to the 6th inning. Shadwinkle taking a long look at Kloster at second base. Now he brings home the 2-2. That's as high as the bill of the cap on Beekler. Count runs full, 3-2. You want to keep the game out of the hands of the umpires if you can help it. Both sides certainly have their disagreements every day, every time out. It's been a tight ball game. High drama here in Class B. Both teams' seasons on the line. Full count pitch swung on, laced to center field. Hibbert will get back and behind it for the catch. He caught it. He dropped it on the transfer, so Kloster is going to move up 90 feet. Hibbert had it in his glove, dropped it on his way out, so it does go down as a sacrifice fly to center for Mason Beekler. But what we should also note is, again, the tough day behind the plate for Boston Hap. So those 90 feet could be consequential if another ball reaches the backstop. That'll be the end of the line for Kean Shadwinkle. We have a call to the bullpen. We'll step aside for 60 seconds, reset the situation, tell you about the new Blue Jay pitcher next on 93.7 The Ticket.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Seward has gone to its bullpen. It calls on right fielder junior Declan Lindau to keep their deficit at 1 run. Austin Norman, Nick Sainert with you at Warner Park here in the Class B State Tournament. This is an elimination game between Seward and Bennington. Badgers, the higher seed, won the first matchup between these two teams 8-1. Badgers took a lead in the bottom of the first. Seward tied it in the third. Bennington went back in front in the home half of the fifth. Seward got that run back early in the 6th inning. They would then go on to load the bases with only 1 out, but a strikeout and a flyout kept the game tied at 2. Now here in the 6th, we've had a hit by pitch on a full count where it looked like the batter Lane Bover went around with his swing. The home plate umpire did not appeal down to first base. Bover moved up and all the way around the bases. So now we have a runner at third base. It's Braden Kloster after a sacrifice fly from Mason Beekler. First batter for Declan Lindau to face is the top of the Badger order. It's left fielder Morgan Schumann. Schumann is 1 for 3 today. He's grounded to third, singled, and fouled out to third. 3 runs on 6 hits for Bennington. Lindau set. Close stance, kicks, fires, breaking ball in, strike 1. Seward wearing its road gray uniforms. Yellow and blue caps. Bennington, all blue pinstripe uniforms. Schumann awaits the 0-1. Fastball low, 1-1. Wind still whipping out to right field. Haven't seen a lot of extra base hits. Colton Lose's triple comes to mind. He didn't score for Seward, though. Here's Lindau's 1-1. Fastball in the dirt. Hap with the backhand snag, 2-1.
Yeah, Hap's got to be careful trying to stab that with the backhand. Kick that leg out, swing those hips, and use your chest protector and all that equipment you got on. Keep it in front of you. 2-run game feels a lot different than a 1-run game with 3 outs left.
In a game where Seward's only scored twice in 6 innings. That breaking ball misses high. Now it's 3-1. Seen Lindau come out of right field with a pretty good feel for that spinner. Does he go with the fastball or with a couple open bags? Does he try the breaking ball again to get Schumann to chase? Here it comes. That is a fastball ripped through the right side, and it will be a 2-run inning and 2-run lead for Bennington. RBI single Morgan Schumann. The second-seeded Badgers now double their advantage at 4-2. Nice, simple, easy swing guided through the right side on the RBI single.
Well, I was surprised we saw the second baseman for Seward. In this case, it's Quinn Berner. He's playing when the left-handed hitter Schumann was up, he was playing closer to the bag than normal. The runner was on third base. I don't know what Seward's coaching staff saw or what their scouting report must have said, but on a day where the wind's blowing to right field, second baseman wasn't over in his usual spot. He might have had a chance to field that one in deep right field, or shallow right field rather, if he was in his normal spot. Maybe he had to play at first base, but we'll never know. It's an RBI.
Here's Hunter Spencer. He's been on board 2 of his 3 times. Swings and fouls it back to the screen. He's now down 0-2. Spencer scored the first 2 runs of the game for Bennington. He was hit by a pitch in the head in the first inning. He scored on a sacrifice fly by Aiden Smith. He then singled in the 5th, and same thing, scored on an eventual sacrifice fly by his catcher Smith. Schumann at first after his RBI single. He's off and running. That one laced up the middle. Berner fields it on a backhand long throw, but in time to retire Hunter Spencer and give Seward its final chance in the batter's box. A dramatic 6th inning comes to a close. Is Seward able to rally from a 2-run deficit with 3 outs to go? Nick Sainert will tell you more about it next on The Ticket.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's 4-2. Bennington leading Seward in the 7th inning of this Class B State Baseball Tournament elimination game. Houston Hill back on the rubber. He's near 100 pitches, but Bennington will give him the first crack to close it out. With more, here's Nick Sainert.
Thank you, Austin. It's the top of the 7th inning. Connor Swazian up to bat first here in the top of the 7th, and as he takes strike 1 over the heart of the plate, it's 0-1. Houston Hill still on the bump, as Austin mentioned, in the top of the 7th. Trying to go the distance here as the 0-1 offering is outside corner for a strike, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Here in the top of the 7th, Bennington 3 outs away from rescheduling a date with Gross Catholic. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here to the 9-hole hitter, Swazian. Strike 3 called on a fastball right down Broadway. And so that is out number 1. Nice job by Houston Hill coming in, settling down, and throwing strikes. As now it's the shortstop's turn. Number 3, the junior, Bryson Burt. But it appears that Houston Hill's day is going to be done. And so he is going to get a standing ovation from the Badgers supporters that are here. And he is going to trot off the field with 2 outs left to have completed in the game. Coming in, it's going to be number 2, Brendan Daluz. Daluz, a sophomore on the year, a 1-0 record with a 3.50 earned run average. And so he will take the ball from his teammate Houston Hill, who took off his cap and thanked the Bennington faithful. And Daluz will come in relief, trying to close this one out. While we have a second, Give to Lincoln Day is Thursday, May 29th, and 93.7 The Ticket's going to be at Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can give ahead to givetolincoln.com and choose Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach. It's located just north of 27th and Holdridge. So just a reminder, 2 games left on the docket. We'll have about an hour in between the conclusion of this game and the first pitch of our game to come. It's going to be a later night than it was last night for Austin and myself. We got out of here thanks to the rolling schedule at around 7:25, 7:30 p.m. Our last game of the day not scheduled to start until 7 p.m. tonight. However, tomorrow it'll be at least 2 games. There will be a game at 10 a.m., and that will feature Lincoln East against the winner of our game to come at between Millard South and Millard West. And then it'll be Millard North versus the winner of our nightcap tonight, Elkhorn South and Papio South. So those 2 games, Lincoln East will play at 10 a.m., Millard North and the winner of Elkhorn South and Papio South will be at 1 p.m. And then if either one of those teams, the teams that are undefeated to this point, lose, then we'll have to play another, if necessary, game following the 1 p.m. game. So we're kind of at the mercy of, depending on who wins tomorrow. Thursday is a designated off day. It's going to probably be a day of much-needed rest, especially if a team is able to beat either Lincoln East or Millard North 2 times tomorrow. And then Friday, 12, 3:30, and 7 p.m. are your state championship game times. Bryson Burt steps in, the 1-hole hitter in the Seward Junior Blue Jays lineup. He is 0 for 2 today. A flyout, a sacrifice fly that drove in a run back in the 3rd, and then a backwards K in the 5th. 4-2 is your score. Bennington out in front by 2. Daluz's first pitch. Short arms it to the plate. It's ball 1-0. And this is where, Austin, you got to have a no-nonsense relief appearance for Brendan Daluz.
Especially as a young guy coming in at a huge moment early in his career.
The pitch on its way in there for a strike, 1-1.
Good spot to be, though, if you're Seward. You have the top of your order. It's unfortunate you couldn't get the leadoff guy on and get the inning going for the Blue Jays. What a gutty performance there by Houston Hill, but leading off with 9-1-2 is a decent spot to start a rally.
And the 1-1 offering is upstairs, 2-1.
And this is where, Nick, the psychology of hitting, too, you want to be patient. You want to see pitches. You want to make Bennington work for it, but you also can't be afraid to swing the bat. That's part of the risk and the reward in the game of baseball. You have to be patient, but selectively aggressive at the same time.
And 2-1, not a whole lot of decision or question in whether or not Bryson Burt should swing at that one. That was way out of the zone and high. It's now 3 balls and 1 strike. There's already a Bennington pitcher warming up in the bullpen out in center field as the 3-1 pitch is in there for a strike. Bryson Burt tossed his bat to the dugout, thought that he was going to go down to first base, but instead it's strike 2.
Didn't think that pitch was that obvious for Burt to make that reaction.
It is Christian Moreno warming up in the Bennington bullpen, a 2-0 record on the year, a 3.00 earned run average. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Daluz's pitch on the way, swung on, soft chopper to short. He fields it cleanly, throwing it across the field in time for out number 2. And so now the Seward Blue Jays season rests on the shoulders of their number 2 hitter, their catcher, Boston Happ. Happ, a junior, righty-righty matchup. It's 4-2 Bennington here in the top of the 7th inning. The pitch on its way, swung on, and it's a foul ball off the umpire's, or rather catcher and then umpire's face mask, and it's 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning. Seward down to their last out in this elimination game. Here comes the pitch by DeLuz. It's upstairs, 1-1, excuse me. Boston Hap reached on a walk in the 6th inning. Came around to score that run in the 6th as well. Here's the pitch by DeLuz. Upstairs again, 2-1. Austin, as we'll get out of here as soon as we kind of conclude this one. I guess if this score stands at 4-2 with a 2-1 count, a lot of missed opportunities for Seward here as DeLuz comes set. 2 balls, 1 strike. The pitch swung on, skied high. This should do it. The shortstop patrolling shallow center field. He's there. He's able to make the catch. And Brock Anderson, the head coach for Seward, gives the umpire a piece of his mind on his way out and back to the dugout. And Bennington is moving on to a rematch against a team that they had to go 12 innings against yesterday. They will play Omaha Gross tomorrow at Papillion La Vista South High School. That game will be at 1 p.m. Bennington will have to beat Gross Catholic twice to punch their ticket to the state championship. However, Austin, final thoughts. A lot of missed opportunities for both sides, but especially in this case since they came out on the shorter end of the stick, the Seward Blue Jays.
Yeah, let's start with the winner, Bennington, real quick. Credit Houston Hill, right? He did his job, got into trouble, pitched out of it. Timely hitting from Bennington came through for the most part when it needed to. Now, if you're Seward, you did miss plenty of opportunities. In the first inning, you had a runner on third base with 1 out. All the runner had to do was slide in the run scores. That's a simple, mental, avoidable error that won't show up in the box score on the scoreboard. But there's 1 run that you could have had. In the third, Colton Lose smokes, or a 4th inning, sorry, Colton Lose smokes a 2-out triple. He's 90 feet away. And then you can't bring him in with the job. And then, of course, the biggest missed opportunity is in the 6th inning. A walk, a line-out, single, walk. Bases are loaded with 1 out. Then a ball doesn't get put in play for a productive out by Quinn Berner in the 7-hole. Quentin Hibbert hits it pretty well, but with 2 outs, it was too late for it to be a productive out for the 3rd out of the inning. And that's not to excuse the bad call. It was a missed call, or at least a mismanagement of the situation by the home plate umpire, as you astutely pointed out. It was the wrong way to handle that situation. So Seward can miss plenty of opportunities, and the game can still have changed in a tangible way in that moment. Seward didn't make pitches to get out of that situation. Bennington took advantage, and Nick, that's what good teams do. When you're presented with a gift, when you're presented with an opportunity, do you maximize it? Bennington did. If that 1 run would have been the difference, maybe we could have a conversation. But the fact that the inning continued, Bennington tacked on another run to make it 4-2. It was just good at bat after good at bat by Bennington, even after that first at bat, and that provides the final 4-2 margin.
Your final score, one last time here from Warner Park. The Bennington Badgers stay alive. They knock off the Seward Blue Jays 4-2 here, and they will play Omaha Gross Catholic at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Good one coming up around 4:15 p.m. It'll be Millard West and Millard South in an elimination game. The winner gets Lincoln East tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We'll have the call for that one here on 93.7 The Ticket as well. We'll step aside, send it back to our guys back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios. For Austin Norman, Nick Sanders saying so long for now from Warner Park.